I recently reviewed the Wacom Mobile Studio Pro, a pretty amazing device in every way. This is the kind of thing I expect from Wacom, really solid hardware. But over the last couple years, a lot of competitors have popped up to compete with Wacom, whether it's the low-end people like Huion that make really inexpensive drawing tablets, or whether it's any of the new Windows-based drawing tablets that come with pen capabilities. Heck, just in the past week, we've seen a brand new monitor that Dell is releasing that has pen support and is giant. It's like 27 inches, and it's rumored to cost like almost $1,000 less than Wacom's 27-inch monitor, plus it has a much higher resolution screen. So yeah, Wacom has a lot of competitors in a space that it used to own. And also because of this direct competition, you're seeing their stock going down as well. So I've decided to single-handedly save Wacom by saying this is what I would do if I was the CEO of that company. Disclaimer, I have no experience actually running a company of any size. Number one, set yourself up as a luxury brand. You're already partway there. Your prices are higher than everybody else, but it takes a lot more than high prices to be considered a luxury brand. First of all, your hardware rocks, so you have nailed that. It's fantastic. Almost everything I have ever used from Wacom I know is going to be solid, whether it's my tiny little Intuos tablet I use from time to time, or the Cintiq that I had used for years and years before replacing it. Even a product that I didn't care for that much, like the Bamboo Slate, was really good from the hardware standpoint. I was amazed at how accurate the pen drawing was and how it rendered and saved all the information so well. So we've established that you make great hardware. That's good. So establishing yourself as the best of the best drawing hardware in our industry is a good place to be, and it justifies the cost of your products. If people see the Wacom name, they know they're going to get the best and they're willing to pay more. But in order to be a true luxury brand, every decision you make has to be about producing the best possible product and experience, bar none. Which leads me to number two, never make an iPad stylus ever again. It is impossible to make a good iPad stylus. I know this, you know this, a lot of people know this, but a lot of the people who then go to Amazon or a store to pick up a stylus for their iPad don't know that. And when they use these things, they say, why doesn't this work very well? It's not your fault that it doesn't work very well. The iPad just isn't built to have like really accurate drawing styluses draw well on it. But if people don't know that, they're going to associate that stylus product that you're making with bad quality, and they're going to associate that bad quality with every other product that you create. The problem comes in when someone goes and buys that stylus, and if they don't like it and they don't have a good experience with it down the road, that affects their buying decisions. Are they going to pay a premium for a brand that they've had a bad experience with in the past? No. So no more iPad styluses, I'm sorry. Number three, spin off Bamboo as its own separate company. I understand that you need to make money, and there is money in selling iPad styluses. However, you don't want to sully the Wacom name by selling these things, and so I propose spinning off Bamboo as kind of your second tier brand. So maybe it doesn't have to be a completely separate company, but from a marketing standpoint, it should be. Its own website, its own logo, you're halfway there. Just kind of take that next step and separate those two entities, Wacom and Bamboo, completely from each other. This way, if you want to make slightly cheaper products or experiment on something that you're not sure is going to work out or not, you can do that on the Bamboo line without sacrificing the brand quality of Wacom. I understand looking at some of the newer products you're coming out with, like some of the slates and things like that, that you are experimenting, and you need to continue experimenting as a company because that's how you make breakthroughs. However, taking an experiment that doesn't work and selling it under your name, I think hurts the company. Number four, you need to manage your customers' expectations better. This really comes from my experience over the last couple months of trying to buy your products when they come out. On your own website, you don't really have dates on when things are going to ship, and you can't actually order something or pre-order something until it is available. I have no idea how supply chain management works. I imagine it is very hard to figure out how many products you're going to have months in advance. Although one thing that is not hard is taking your customers' expectations of when something is going to ship or when it is going to arrive and being very clear and meeting those expectations and even sometimes exceeding those expectations. For example, the Microsoft Surface Studio allowed you to take pre-orders from the day they announced it. And they said it was going to start shipping in December, but a lot of those early orders started shipping at the end of November. So the very first impression someone had with this brand new, very expensive product that shipped out was good. It was a good surprise to know, hey, I'm going to get this 2 weeks sooner than I thought I was going to. Because it's not just the products that make your customers happy, it's the experience they have with you as the company providing those products. With the new Cintiqs that you announced this fall, you said they were going to ship in December. It is now January and they haven't actually started shipping yet. So if you're someone who's really excited about these devices like I am and is really looking forward to checking them out, you're disappointed by the fact that you don't know when, if ever, it's gonna come out. It would have been so much better if you'd said, hey, it's gonna come out in January, and if you were wrong and it came out earlier, great, some people are getting it early. While we're on this topic, let's go to number 5, which is clean up your online store. Products that haven't been released yet have labels on them that say that they're out of stock. Other products that you're looking for are hard to find. It's just kind of a mess. And I don't know when something is going to be back in stock, and since I can't order it and wait for it, I have to keep going back to your website to find out if it's available. As a customer, that's really frustrating because you want to be at the front of the line. I am willing to give you money right now to order this thing and to get in line. And on that same idea is number 6. You can see it now, 6. All accessories associated with a product need to be available when that product is available. The Mobile Studio Pro needs a couple of things to actually make it useful. The first thing is a stand. Without a stand, you got to figure out a way to prop it up, and so your first experience using the product is going to be an uncomfortable positions. Also, if you're getting it hoping to also use it as an Cintiq, right now you cannot buy the little adapter to make that happen. These kind of disappointments really stack up. I feel like I've said this over and over again, but a lot of it is just managing expectations and keeping your customers happy from the very first impression they have of you. And a lot of these little things, they sound like nitpicks, but if you're a luxury brand, they have to be happy with you from the first minute they get that product. And if I can't get accessories or I can't understand how to use the store or order your product, that is frustrating. That also means if I have a real problem and I have to call support or contact you guys in any way, shape, or form, I've already had a negative experience with you. The more positive experiences you can build up over time, the better it's going to be for your brand and the easier it's going to be to sell your products to customers, 2, 3, 4 years down the road. Number 7. Focus on the pros. The good news here is Apple has more or less abandoned us, so there is a hole to be filled. If you make the pros really happy, and in a lot of ways over time, you guys really have, but if you can continue to do that, people who can't afford your hardware are going to drool over your hardware because that's what the pros use. Part of being a luxury brand is being an aspirational brand, something that people want to earn enough money to be able to afford someday. One way to do that is to focus on your hardware and make sure that the internals of your computers that you're making have the latest and greatest stuff in them. For example, the Cintiq Companion 2 that you have just replaced with the Mobile Studio Pro, it took 2 years to actually get that update. So the processor inside of that thing was from the fall of 2013, and if you're buying that at the end of 2016, that is a really old processor. We don't need a redesigned product every year, but just updating the internals and the prices around your products to reflect the age of the technology is a good idea. Pros understand that stuff. Number 8, have a way for us reviewers to talk to your PR people. This one's a little weird and I almost cut it out because it's coming from me and it sounds a little selfish to say, hey, you should talk to me. But I've talked to other reviewers and they say it's really hard to actually talk to someone from like your PR department. Maybe I'm talking to the wrong people, but it's not just me. I know folks at Adobe, I know folks from Microsoft, and it really makes reviewing products easier because if I have any questions or if I run into any problems, I can see, is it user error or is this something that's actually wrong with the product or something the product doesn't do. Perfect example is I reviewed the Bamboo Slate a couple months ago and the review wasn't really all that sparkling. I felt like with that product I had to do a ton of research online just to figure out what the product was for and what all the features were. One very important feature, this idea that one button press could save that page and you could keep writing notes, I had no idea you could do that. I thought that button was only for syncing it up to your phone or iPad. And so that was the biggest thing I dinged it on, was that frustrating way of using it. But I didn't know how to use it the right way because there was no documentation. There was nobody that I could reach out to and talk about the product with. Someone asked in a comment, hey, the older Slate used to have this feature. Does the new one just not have that? This was after my review was done and I spent 3 weeks trying to understand this product and getting frustrated by all the other features. Actually, while I'm on that point, let's go to number 9, which is you need better documentation and manuals. Overall, the biggest problem with the Bamboo Slate was that I didn't understand how to use it. There was no manual that I could download on your manuals page. And the documentation was kind of sparse. It felt more like marketing than something informational that I could really use. It was clear using the product that you guys had spent a ton of time making that hardware really good. But if I don't understand how to use that hardware, I don't think the average user is going to understand how to use that hardware. Number 10, forget about software. Just forget about it. If you're going to get into software like your cloud service, it has to be the best cloud service that money can buy. My experience using it is I have to supplement it with something like OneDrive or Dropbox for it to actually do what I need it to do. It seems like the kind of product that was made to make investors happy so you could bill people on a monthly basis than it was a product that would make consumers happy. Ultimately, a luxury brand makes their customers super happy and the customers come back and buy more stuff, and that makes the investors happy. Those are my 10, and I know for a fact that it's much easier to say these things into a video camera than it is to do a lot of them. I have no idea what it takes to manage a supply chain for a big computer and products company. But I do know what it takes to manage expectations of your customer, whether I am designing a website or an illustration for somebody, or whether I'm trying to manage the expectations of the people who watch this channel on a weekly basis. Those things just take a little bit more time and energy. So you've done the hard work. You've made the killer hardware. Now just beef up the other stuff around it. This isn't something that's going to affect your bottom line now, 2 months from now, 6 months from now, but 2, 3, 4 years from now, it's going to affect you in a big way. Especially if you have to compete with Microsoft and Dell and all these other inexpensive manufacturers. If you get people excited, if you are a luxury brand that people aspire to work with, you'll be in good shape in the future. If you're just another brand that's overpriced compared to everybody else, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. If you enjoyed this video, consider contributing on Patreon. And of course, if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I'm going to be back next week with another video. I almost had it out this week, but the script just needed a little more polishing. It's about people who have used Macs and are thinking about switching to Windows and what I wish I knew before I switched over to Windows. I hope it's a really good video. I'm hoping that it's done by next Monday or Tuesday. And probably later this week, I'm going to have another journal entry out this year. I'm trying to become a better artist, and I'm sharing that journey with you. I'll also be streaming on Twitch on Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, I will see you guys in a few days.